1 in 25 people have had a near-death experience, according to the research from our next guest. So when someone escapes death and tells their story, they may hold remarkable clues that can possibly teach us about a life to come. Pastor John Burke is the author of Imagine Heaven, Near-Death Experiences, God's Promises, and the Exhilarating Future that Awaits You. He's also the founder and lead pastor of Gateway Church in Austin, Texas. John, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So near-death experiences, you believe in them now. You've
Yes.
studied over 1,000 cases of them.
Yes.
You didn't used to be a religious man, but then became one. Explain that to us.
Well, when my dad was dying of cancer, someone gave him the first book on near-death experiences, Life After Life. And I picked it up one night, and I read it cover to cover. And after reading it, I thought, oh my gosh, like, if this is true, this is the most important thing I could possibly find out about.
What were the commonalities you heard in the stories?
Yeah, in Imagine Heaven, I write about 12 commonalities, like we're ourselves. We have a body, but they talk about how we don't just have 5 senses. It's like we have 50 senses.
Do we look the way we looked when we died, or do we look the way we looked at our favorite age? How do we look?
Well, that's an interesting question, because people say a little bit different things, and I have my own theory I come up with in the book. But people basically say we're in our prime, and you recognize each other, and they see beauty, not unlike Earth, mountains and trees and, you know, gorgeous flowers, but they experience it in other dimensions of time and space.
Is there a peace?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Many people talk about being in the presence of this man of light that they know to be God, and in his presence they never want to leave. What people always say is, I felt like I was home. I felt like that's where I belong.
But you know the skeptics say, this is all BS.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is people who are having maybe pre-death experiences, and they're connoting something that they've heard on television or read in a book.
Well, and I was an engineer before a pastor, so I have a very analytical mind, and I ask a lot of the same questions. And I've interviewed doctors who have had these experiences, and I write in Chapter 2 about skeptical doctors in the afterlife, what it was that convinced so many cardiologists and oncologists that these are actually showing us some picture of what's to come.
Is there anything that jumps out at you as most persuasive?
Well, there are a lot of accounts, but like, for instance, there was an article written in The Lancet, a prestigious medical journal, about a man who came in cardiac arrest in the hospital. His dentures were taken out. He was unconscious. They did CPR. He was unconscious for a whole week, moved to another room. When he comes to, he tells them where his dentures were, that they were put in this crash cart in this other room. He couldn't have possibly seen that, except he said he left his body, he witnessed what had happened.
But can't there be, the hearing is still there, and something is seeping into the computer that is your brain?
And I talk about accounts like that. Pam Reynolds, where I can't go into all of it, but she had clickers in her ears, her eyes were taped shut, no brain waves, no heartbeat, and yet she saw exactly what was going on and described the saw they were using to operate on her brain, and it doesn't look anything like a saw.
Wow.
But she described it in detail.
That book, Life After Life, I can say this, really helped my mom after my dad died back in 1985, and I know it helped you and was the beginnings of this. It is called Imagine Heaven by John Burke. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me here.
Let's hope you're right.